Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Spaghetti Wednesdays, Deadlands edition. Sorry about last week. People got sick, and since we only got two, didn't make sense to go with one. So, where we last left off, Agapita. You had just witnessed William get thrown overboard as the engine of the train begins to explode. The train is hurtling towards the next town with only a few minutes to a few seconds left to spare. The ride's all on your shoulders.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. But we are going to pick right back up with you. Maybe we should, maybe one little recap. We'll see if the old oath holds by the end of this episode.
We will see. So, I saw Reverend William just
like a tumbleweed thrown out of the back of a 200-mile-an-hour pickup.
Yeah.
Small little dust cloud. Can't see that anymore. It's already gone.
I'm gonna turn around and just try to find him. He hit the ground yet?
Oh, he hit the ground. You saw when he hit the ground, but the train's moving at roughly 200 miles per hour. He's already past the horizon.
There's no helping me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm either dead or I'm not.
Those are the two options.
Feeling a little miffed that she couldn't do anything at the moment. She's just gonna turn back around to the front part of the
part of the train that contains the engine that is exploding and all the levers and dials.
Yeah. The ones that I don't understand what's going on there, but I'm gonna so bad at this. I'm gonna walk over there and let's see if I can do anything. All the way south.
I feel bad for Agapita.
Give me a roll.
Wait. A roll?
Or do you just want to start hitting buttons? Throwing levers?
Do like maybe a science roll to see. I mean, we studied the schematics, however little they meant. You're still untrained, but
I'll give you a bonus since you have seen the schematics. However, the bonus is only going to be a +1 because you don't really know what you're looking at, but you have a little bit more familiarity with it.
I kind of want to try something with my powers, but I don't know if it will, the spirits will just reject it. But I still want to try.
What did you want to try?
Let's try to boost my trait, or what's that? Is it science?
Science? Okay.
But is there? Yeah, there's a science.
Yeah, there's
just, thinking of the biomechanics I saw and its relation to nature. It's the natural occurring maths and sciences. +2? Am I making that up? Oh, 2, yeah.
Yeah, so that would
do
it'd bring you from untrained to a D6 temporarily for like the next like 30 seconds.
Yep.
And you have
Yeah.
you have that +1 from the blueprints.
Wait, +1 flat or just plus
Just-
1 die?
No, +1 flat.
Mhm. Let's see.
You have bennies. I will.
That's
Yes.
a 2.
Yes. I have 3 bennies, so that's a benny.
Agapita is also wounded, so that's a 4.
Before.
But 5.
Minus yeah, that's a 5. I was adding the wound a second time.
You have an idea of what lever is the brakes. However,
Hold the lever, Kronk.
you also know that it's going to take this a little bit of time to stop. You don't know if you have enough of it. And you also know that this is going to cause problems with you and the spirits.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And they said
Drop
it
my
wasn't
bandana.
designed to stop.
gonna wrap my hand and pull the lever, hoping that the bandana will give like a operation. Not really.
As you pull the lever, it is not necessarily a brake. Because as William just kind of mentioned there, this thing's not designed to stop. What this lever does is you feel the back part of the train car begin to open up behind you. You hear gears whirling and turning. If you look behind yourself, Agapita is going to notice that the train car behind you has now lifted up into the air and has created essentially what is a slide. As hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions, of ghost rock nuggets begin to pour down the slide. Off of that, you're able to see that it's meant to funnel directly into the engine. You are not in any danger of being squished by rocks. It is funneling it directly into the engine.
I. No, that was not the intent. I'm
I'm giving you one more action before we find out what this does.
yeah, I'm gonna like a window.
Yeah, this is open air, so there's no window for you to...
Oh yeah, gonna toss my bandana into the engine and just like hop out and use what's my power? I'm so stressed. I can't think of it. Elemental manipulation, right? To try and use the winds to soften my blow.
Oh, you're bailing.
Yeah. Yes, she is. She's veiling and trying to use powers right after she interacted with a mechanical object. We'll see how this turns out.
Make your faith roll.
Yep.
And nothing's gonna happen.
So, as you bail, as more and more ghost rock begins to pour into this thing, you notice right as the vast majority of the rocks hit the inside of the engine, the world seems to shift, and the train begins to dive. It seems like whatever type of engine it is, it needs a vast amount of fuel to return to the Deadlands, or sorry, the hunting grounds. That's how it funnels the amount of fuel it needs to get back into the Deadlands. You watch as the train descends into the ground. And that's when the explosion happens. The train is halfway inside of the entryway, and you just see a massive mushroom cloud of green-black smoke. A wave of heat rushes over you, and you hit the ground. The spirit's not answering. Now, before I do any damage rolls or anything like that, William, I know it's a little fruitless, but I did stop you from rolling last session at the end.
Yeah, my bleed outs, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And you're fully equipped with bennies again.
Yep. I don't think those are going to be very helpful, but we'll find out, won't we? Let's see. Bring me up real quick. And all right, so I'm at 3 of 3 wounds, and it is, where's my, there it is. All right, vigor roll at -3. Failure is a perish. That's a -1. We'll spend a Benny. That is. Is that a success with a raise I'm looking at? With a -3? 6, 6, 1, 13, -3, 10.
Yep, that's a success with a raise.
I didn't see that coming. It stabilizes and no further rolls are required. I'm going to roll like 4d20 to see how many hours I'm unconscious.
Now, Agapita, since we're doing damage rolls here, we're gonna go ahead and do another damage roll. Was that the same roll I did last time? No.
E4 plus 12? No.
There we go.
hold on.
And that's because I actually had it set up on a damage roll, not
Yeah,
the...
you did strength.
Yeah.
It was like 60, 12 plus some stuff.
59 damage. As you hit the ground.
What's your toughness?
Let's not even play. So, I'm gonna give you actually
Like 11 or 12 wounds.
gonna give you an option here. Agapita. There was something we had discussed before the start of this campaign. It was mentioned during session, I know it was mentioned before session 0, and I know it's been mentioned after session 0. I don't know if the audience necessarily knows. I hope not. I'll give you a devil's bargain here, pulling from Blades in the Dark. No dice rolls. I'll let you automatically stabilize. But you have to make a deal with something.
Heal. I need to that life. I need to stuff. So, here.
And that was going to be contingent. You weren't going to know what you're making a deal with here.
Yeah.
So, William, having stabilized, you wake up. Don't know how long later. You wake up in a bed. No light in the room other than an oil lantern. Needless to say, everything hurts.
Imagine so. I look around. Do I see what's in the? What else is in the room? People, other beds, pictures, windows, daytime, nighttime. He's just kind of trying to get his bearings as much as he can without moving.
Definitely nighttime. That's not even a remote question as soon as you start looking. The oil lantern illuminates some of the room, casting shadows on other parts. You notice an individual sat quietly in a chair. They appear to be whittling something with the faint light of the oil lantern.
I'm gonna probably unsuccessfully try to kind of keep it to myself that I'm awake, though it's probably not possible to not let out a grunt of pain or something as I'm like trying to look around the room. Or even maybe it's probably not possible to not move a bit before I think about that. I'm probably a bit out of it. But it'll be obvious, whoever's watching me, that like I'm trying to keep myself being awake a bit quiet, and probably, until I know a bit more about what's going on.
The individual stands and moves over to your bedside, kind of looks down at you. You remember your name?
Reverend Barnett. Oh shit, cough hurts.
Everything's gonna hurt. The voice is familiar. It's your contact.
How'd you find me?
I didn't. Your friend did.
small list. Which one, though?
The one that went with you on this journey.
Figured she's dead. He's dead. How'd they get off?
He declines to answer and moves over to the door and opens it for Agapita to walk in. Have there been any changes to Agapita since becoming a witch?
Yes, but physically, it's not visible. Like she's been wearing more longer clothing. Corruption shows like on the outside physically, so she's been trying to cover those up. Maybe like with gloves or like longer sleeves, things like that.
Are you wearing
It's way
like
more covered up.
processed sewn clothes instead of like hides and animal skins and stuff?
Yeah.
You look different.
You look like not very good.
Look better than I feel, probably. How'd you get off of that thing?
I ask myself the same question.
Yeah. I just remember the explosion, thunder sounding. How long has it been?
Gosh. Month.
I'm thirsty and I smell like piss.
Well, sorry, I wasn't in the mood to give a sponge bath.
William tries to sit up. It don't work.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try, give me a vigor roll. See if you can tough it through the pain.
I probably still got all 3 of my wounds, don't I?
Probably.
Oh, look at that. That's a 5, even with the -3. Oh, he is a stubborn old coot.
He's...
He'll sit up. He starts to sit up, kind of grits his teeth, reaches up with, grabs his shirt and puts it between his teeth to bite on the collar of his shirt, pushes himself the rest of the way up. That hurt.
A lot of things are gonna hurt.
I need my cross, my book. I need a censer, some herbs, and I need
Are you conducting ceremony right here?
Yeah, I'm sure am. Get it for me.
He moves over to the nightstand, opens up a drawer, pulls out the good book. Your cross is right there on the table. He sets the book right down next to it. Now, as for a censer and some herbs, I don't got none of that here.
Agapita, you carried root herb stuff. You got anything on you? Just something from the ground.
Sure. Pull out a ginger, like a root.
Yeah, just something. It's fine. Whatever.
Toss it to you.
Got any myrrh, frankincense, anything like that? No, probably not. We'll do without. It's fine. Oh, this is gonna hurt. And he reaches over, gets the stuff. It's like, got a knife.
He flips the blade in his hand that he was using to whittle.
And William will cut a strip of cloth from his shirt. He wore from his shirt. He says, "Well, it ain't white, but whatever. It's a shawl now, I guess." And kind of drapes it over his shoulders. And he'll light the incense. Set it down next to him and kind of let that burn. I assume there's probably like a basin of water nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Like wet the cloth, put on the lips. He'll get that basin of water, and kind of check it, look in it. He'll spend about 5 minutes in like invocation style prayer. And then he'll kind of move. He'll open the book. And he'll start to recite out loud some scripture, some healing scriptures, like some Psalms, a bit of James, Isaiah, and he'll do that for 15 or 20 minutes before he dips the cloth in the basin and kind of wipes some of the mud and muck off of him, like he's cleansing himself. And he'll go through a few other pieces of ceremony. It'll take about an hour. And at the end of it, he's going to cast healing on himself. But he's going to, which is 3 power points, but he's going to spend an additional 20 power points to add the crippling injuries modifier, which has the power to heal permanent crippling injury with a 1-hour ritual. And leaves me exhausted for 24 hours.
Well, you were already exhausted, so you're going to be passing out.
Yep. So at the end of it, most of his powers, everything Agapita has seen, has been very subtle, with the exception of just a faint little glow when he would cast Smite on something. But everything else has been very subtle. Things that if you didn't know he was casting a spell, you wouldn't know if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But this, there's a bit of an influx. And it's hard to mistake. And let's find out if it works or not.
Also, I want to ask Agapita, how do you feel given your new provocations with all this scripture being read?
No, my skin starts sizzling. And not your neck. No. As this is happening, just feeling the overwhelming, godly power. I'm just gonna like step out a bit. I would like lie and say, I'm just gonna grab something. To raise some attention.
Somebody stepping out of the room in the middle of the sermon is normally something a reverend might notice, but he's a little occupied and tired at the moment. He probably won't even catch on that it happened.
Yeah.
Ready?
Go on. Give us that roll.
All right, I'll spend a penny. So for the audience, the first roll was a 3. I have a -3 to all my rolls because of my 3 wounds. A success heals 1 wound and a particular crippling injury. And then every raise after that, so every 4, so at the 8 and 12 mark, you can heal additional wounds. So a 12 would get me to fully healed. Something I didn't mention because I was going to wait and see if it failed was that if I fail, the permanent injury I'm trying to heal can never be healed by me. Someone else has to try it. Um, uh, but with the Benny, that was a 16, including my -3. Um,
Overhealing
so
is not a thing.
no, no, it's not. But all of my wounds just went away, and so did my permanent injury. Hmm.
Go ahead and take narrative control here and get a Benny back for this if you do really well.
I will say a 14 is a 2% success chance. My calculator won't let me go to a 16 to see what it was to get a 16. So this was like a 1 to 2% chance. He as he finishes you can feel the energy kind of building as he's going through the ritual. And at the end there's an actual prayer of healing that he kind of says himself rather than reading the healing scriptures from the good book. And then there's a closing benediction, and just as he finishes and he sets the book down, and you hear him say amen. And as this has been going, there's just been this kind of, I don't want to say oppressive, but overwhelming, yet for most normal people, comforting kind of presence everywhere that's just been building and building, like the air pressure is going up in the room and isn't being let out. The lights are getting brighter, the candle the oil lamp is getting brighter, and it reaches a point where most people may not have even noticed it as it was happening, but it reaches a point where you realize the primary light in the room doesn't come from the oil lamp. It just is. The air itself is permeated with a light and a glow. And as he finishes the prayer, all of the kind of light that had built up in the room, kind of the incense that was burning in the censer, all of it kind of comes together in this flash, and it condenses down into this little globule of light. There's this loud popping sound, like a vacuum being popped, where all the air from outside rushes in as that kind of space is vacated, and there's almost like a concussive force that you would feel kind of hit you like a shock wave, before that little ball hits William in the chest and vanishes into him, and all of that is very quickly replaced by screams of pain and agony, as bones reset in real time. Well, not real time, but at fast forward rate. And it's like if he were to heal perfectly over the next 2.5 years, all the bones having to be set and reset and cast, all the soreness from the bruises, it's like the next year and a half of healing happens in the next 5 to 7 seconds, and all the pain that would have been spread out over that year happens in that same amount of time and is all shoved into that small space. And you hear this piercing scream of agony, and he passes out.
Mm. Hearing that, I just rushed back into the room. What, what
And
happened?
he would look tired, but the bruising is gone. He's dirty, but his head, his face. I imagine he's probably shirtless to be able to treat some of the stuff
Yeah.
prior. But all the yellowing, it's all gone. He looks like a dirty sleeping man now, instead of someone who got tossed from the back of a train.
The good Lord was here. That's what happened. The individual it's just kind of shell-shocked, for lack of any better word. He's just kind of staring blankly at what he just witnessed.
I walk over. Just see that he's healed over and to say, "You did that with a piece of ginger?" Damn.
Now, what about you? You've been awfully quiet about the way you survived the train. Do you even remember what happened?
Let's just say, if right now the Lord intervened, something similar happened back at the train. I look over at him, and because it's night and like I am like standing in front of the lamp, so it could either be like because of the light overcast, but my eyes turn black as I look at him, and I smile, almost wickedly.
You have the eyes of a demon from a trademarked show I'm not going to say the specific name of.
Okay, he gives a shudder. Now, matter of payment. Your friend didn't end up going on board, so his payment's forfeit. I hope you realize that. So with the two of you, how much does that make it?
To be very honest, it's been a month. I don't quite remember.
Does anybody have it written down in their notes?
William said he
Oh,
didn't
right,
care,
the extra.
so I didn't keep up with it.
and-
'Cause
Fair
William
enough.
was like, I'm not doing it for the money. Pay me what you want to pay me. I'm gonna go do the job.
It was like 200? No, that's okay. Back. Can we take a break while we switch? No.
Imagine like William interrupts that by coughing himself back awake again after like a few minutes. Still exhausted, but like the initial like he was out for a couple of minutes, like knocked out, and now he's kind of opening his eyes and coughing. Kind of looks around and says, that hurts less. And this time he sits up with not nearly as much trouble. Still tired.
And stiff, probably.
Yeah, he needs to get up and stretch himself a bit. That was that was a long shot. Didn't see that working, to be honest. To be fair, didn't see me surviving that train either, so.
The train. Alright, so I guess we need to get on to that subject now, don't we?
We killed the guy running it for as long as he managed to stay dead, I reckon. I think we broke the train right and proper, though. Of course, I wasn't awake when whatever happened. So what did happen?
Well, Agapita there hasn't necessarily been very forthcoming with information. Maybe she'll open up now. I can tell you what we know. The town the town's leveled. But not the same leveled.
It a deadland, or it just gone because it blew up?
It's a radioactive, ghost fever infested hellhole, but not a deadland.
Well, could be worse, I reckon. The train ride the next night?
We haven't seen it for the past month.
That's good.
Now, as for how all of that happened, kind of looks over at Agapita.
I start to detail what happened. Not like incredibly detailed, but like, oh,
We noticed the notice roll.
That was William's insight check. I was gonna see to on Agapita but I rolled a crit fail, so you know,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
better now than earlier. Can't be any of those.
yeah, just the the lever pulling, the funneling, and the explosion that ensued.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure if there was another way of stopping it, but with the way things were gonna go, it was either that or the entire state gone.
There likely wasn't any stopping it if it hit another town. Yeah, I gathered that he was getting stronger every run. Yeah. He said he served death, and he couldn't stay dead because of it. Ain't nothing you can't put a final nail in, but don't know that we did it the way that was required for him. Did shoot him with a special gun though, so when he went to joking and mocking about serving death, he didn't know I was going to shoot him with that. So that might have been the one thing. They always got something.
Well, got quite a tale to tell the two of you. You still heading towards California, Agapita?
Yeah, still am.
What about you, William?
Oh, I reckon I'll need to pray on it a bit and see where the Lord sends me.
You'd come with.
Might do that. You look like you'd use a bit of help.
Also, I mentioned to Agapita just a few moments ago that I wasn't entirely, or that your payment, which was supposed to be divvied up 3 ways, one side is forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't necessarily forthcoming about what happened to Josh there. Well, he quit the field before you hopped on the train.
Mm-hmm.
And, well,
Happens.
and let's just say the next time I saw him, he was strung up on a hanging tree. Torn up Confederate flag.
Well, them crows running behind him had to be bad luck.
What I know is he was a deserter. Looks like his old army friends caught back up with him. Oh, what is that?
I got it.
My God, what's Mariah Carey?
UPS's battery is at end of life, and it lets me know every few hours. I've got a new one shipping in already.
What's you?
Sorry.
I guess
Power supply.
I guess when you call yourself the Jinx, you know, you're kind of writing your own fate, right?
Yeah. Best not to put in on all that mess. He could have used a bit of time with a good book. That's for certain.
Well then, Another thing I forgot to mention. We're in Dallas, so we're connected right to the train rails. Wherever you need to go, we can get you there. With no ghost rock needed. Kind of looks over at both of you, thinking that.
Say, we can do California. I ain't got nowhere else better to be at the moment. Unless something comes up between here and there. I'll get the money from you before we go.
I still would recommend you rest up at least a day.
Yeah, I'm tired. That spell took it out of me. So, that hurt.
Don't reckon you'll want to ever do that again, right?
I'd rather not, yeah. All said and done, though, I reckon it could have worked out much better.
I don't honestly know. I think things ended the way they just needed to. He goes over and kind of like puts a hand on your shoulder, gives it a pat before he turns, grabbing his hat. Once you're feeling up to it, let me know and we'll head down to the train station. Get you on a train to California. Well, the closest city.
I walk out the doors of this place. Which way do I turn? Find some bratwurst and a whiskey.
It's gonna be a right.
Perfect. And he pushes himself up and kind of, that walk you do when you're real tired or you kind of heavy-footed. He starts making his way towards the door.
Whoa, now.
What?
Said rest for a day. I'll bring it up if you're really that hungry.
Fine. Goes and lays back down. Normally he'd probably argue, but he's too tired.
As he leaves, he shuts the door behind him, leaving just Agapita and William in the room.
You gonna tell me if I ask?
Depends on what you ask.
Can you hear them?
Depends on what you ask. I better.
Yeah.
Why you look the way you do and dress the way you do now?
It's colder.
Bullshit. Don't lie to me. Just say you ain't gonna give me the answer.
Thing is, it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's just that I don't even know what to tell you.
Could you turn up the volume on your mic?
Yeah. It's max. Let's see. Maybe it's
Yeah.
this. Hello?
There we go.
That's way better. There we go. Say,
Okay.
well, see if we can figure it out. Maybe between here and California, there'll be somebody who'll know a bit.
I roll up my sleeve and just like show him my arm, and it's like there's like blackened veins. I don't reckon much people will know how to deal with this.
Well, there's making a cult roll. I got some of that. Not much.
Oh,
I'm gonna spend my last Benny. Bennies have been treating me well tonight. Not here though.
Was that counting your extra Benny that I gave you for that scene?
Oh no, it was not. One more time.
are you really- there you go.
With a raise.
Almost 2. Very close to 2.
Very close. Very close. So I got a few ideas. Of course, the ones I know the best are a bit final. So maybe we avoid those for now. There's some old purifying rituals. I don't know them. Just know of them. There's probably a few things we'd have to gather that ain't easy to come by. And we'd have to do it for whatever's in you got its roots too deep, or it may not work at all.
I'm sorry, William.
I'll write some letters, send some letters out. See what there's an archbishop in back in New York I knew did an exorcism or two. He was real good at it. He might know something. And I know a fella in where was it? Somewhere in Kentucky. I'm tired. He ran across something he was telling me about. I was drunk at the time. I just remember half the story, but let me write a couple people. Maybe tell them to send word to, what do you think, San Francisco?
Sorry, William.
Maybe the Legion will know something too. We can have our man put a few people to research and maybe send a telegram when we get out to Tucson. See if they found anything.
Thanks for watching Spaghetti Wednesdays on the Domain Gaming, the actual play series where we throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon and get access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and more. Tune in next week for another thrilling adventure on Spaghetti Wednesdays. Let's see what sticks this time.